How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Yeah. Hey, hey. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Spirit Speaks experience for today. How are you doing? I'm Rosemary Nonny Knight, by the way. I am the prosperity minister and the business coach for ambitious spiritual people determined to manifest at least five to $10,000 or more each and every month whilst living luxuriously in their purpose. Now, what I teach is how to convert energy into matter predictably. That will make more sense the more you hang around in my world. I help you leave behind the pain, the limiting beliefs of the past, to rise victorious in your true design life. I do believe every single soul has the right to live a free, fulfilled, financially abundant, love-drenched life as defined by you, if you will claim it. If you will claim it. Now, I show you how to combine both practical action with spiritual interaction to create real world physical reality results. Okay. So, if you understand more about how all of that works, it starts with my book, Money Manifestation Mastery and Strategic Divine Guidance. So, in order to get a copy of that book, you just need to look at the link in my bio or send me a message with the word book, and I'll get that over to you. So, we're going to start today, as always, by reading one of the divine downloads. Now, these divine downloads are it's me sitting down with the divine each morning, asking for a message for my paid community, the Deliberate Millionaire Gathering. What I'm doing now is sharing some of the previous messages, usually from last year at the moment. I'm sharing some of those with you guys. Okay, so let's start with the divine download that we're looking at today. It came from, I think it was May last year. Now, here we go. You do it all the time. So, hear what the divine is saying to you right now. Okay, you do it all the time. You tap into the inner realms of existence, but you forget it almost immediately as it goes against what you have decided is the truth about what you think is a limited, restricted existence. We won't go into all of this. That's a very long sentence. But anyway, you are so scared of not being respected, of being seen as kooky. And so, time and again, you ignore what you also claim to want to see and understand. Make up your mind what is important to you. Make up your mind about what is a must for you. Make up your mind for, yes, I can show you everything. And yes, it is so much more than you've allowed yourself to truly believe. It will blow your mind to see all that there is, and it will set you free from your current limitation. Limitations that you claim not to want, but feel very comfortable and safe to you. Limitations that you are still unwilling to release. So decide again. Do you want to see and to know and to perceive all that is? So that was the message. Yeah. So we start, look at that first sentence. You do it all the time. You tap into the inner realms of existence, but you forget it almost immediately. So for some of y'all, especially as we as ambitious spiritual people, there's a deep desire inside of all of us to explore. We may not use the words, okay, to explore reality, to explore existence, to explore how, well, but we do know, we want to know how things work. Okay. So, depending on what your background is spiritually and all of that, you want to know how things work. You want to understand how you can say, well, at least I did anyway, and I still do. When you say a prayer, how is it that what we speak must come to pass? How is it that you manifest things? How is it that we hear these things about being depending on what you're, again, how you've been brought up? You hear things about faith and prayer and affirmation and how these things work. You don't always understand exactly how it works, and you want to understand more. But you ask the divine for help to understand what's going on, and you get these impressions, you get dreams, you get sudden insights, you get images, you get feelings, you get nudges, you hear things in your head, and you know things that suddenly you have no physical reason to know, but you feel that actually this is maybe an answer to what I'm saying, but you may not be conscious that it's an answer to what you're asking for. And also, almost immediately, for some of y'all, you shut it down. So, yes, you get the understanding, you're getting the ideas in your head, but you're telling yourself, oh, I'm just making things up. Oh, I just need to be sensible. Oh, I can't tell anybody I just thought that because that sounds kooky, basically. Or people will think that I'm weird. Yeah. Or what if I do become one of those, spiritual people? Because frankly, yeah, there's a certain kind of spiritual person that sometimes a little bit, they're so heavenly minded that they're not really useful. Basically, and none of us really want to be like that. Okay. And so you get these ideas, you're getting these inklings, you're getting these insights, but you're also shutting them down. So that's what the divine is kind of talking about here, where you say you want to understand more about how reality truly works. But the moment you get any kind of new thing that is unlike what you're used to believing, you shut it down. Particularly if you were brought up religious or you are currently religious, it can be so easy to shut things down if they do not fit your specific strand of spirituality, your specific strand of religion. You shut things down because, oh well, if it doesn't fit into my sacred text, that must mean that it doesn't fit. It doesn't work. It's not truth. I need to be careful about what I'm taking on as truth. But can you see that with that kind of closed mind, how can you understand things that you do not understand right now? Because if you already knew it, why would you need to know? Why would you want to dig deeper into these things? Do you understand what I'm saying here? If you already knew it, it wouldn't be unusual to you. But you're getting these insights. The divine is trying to answer your prayers about understanding how manifestation works, how the spiritual laws work, how existence works, how all of this stuff. But you shut it down because it doesn't sound like what you're used to. Do you notice when you're doing this? Okay? Because this is the truth. There is more to life than just the physical reality. There is more to life than just the physical reality. And we kind of know this. And most of y'all would say that you know this, but do you actually act as though you know this? Because you keep acting as though the physical reality is the final say, has the final say on everything that happens in your life. And we talk about everybody, all of us generally, oh well, at least I think most spiritual people would say that they believe that you create from within. You create from within. You create from within. But do you really believe that? So when something shows up in your physical reality, is the only thing you do to keep shifting things around in your physical reality instead of, okay, if I create from within, is there something inside of me that needs to shift in order for the physical reality to move? I'm not saying we don't do anything that we need to, because again, we do not want to be a kooky spiritual person that only does internal stuff. There's where divine beings having a human experience, there's going to be there's practical action to take. But do you really truly believe that you create from within? I had this impression, okay, of a cone. I want you to imagine with me a cone. A cone. So a cone is like an upside down triangle, right? It depends on, but anyway, a cone, yes. So imagine with me a cone. At the top of this cone, the circumference of the top of this cone. So imagine you lived on the surface of the cone and you had to walk all the way around it and come back to wherever you started. Imagine that circumference was 1 kilometer in length. Yeah. And the bottom of the cone, the circumference, if you were walking around the bottom of the cone, was about 10 centimeters. So 1 kilometer is about 100,000 centimeters. 10 centimeters at the bottom, 1 kilometer at the top. Now, I want you to imagine that the physical reality is at the top. And I want you to imagine this as well, that if for every goal you want to create, for every goal any of you want to create, one revolution of the cone is the creation of that goal. Again, it's a metaphor or analogy or whatever, okay? So one revolution of the cone is one goal manifested. So if you live just in the physical reality, you have to walk 100,000 centimeters to go around the cone once and get one goal manifested. If you live at the bottom, you only have to walk 10 centimeters for one revolution of the cone. So it takes a lot less energy, a lot less effort, a lot less time to walk 10 centimeters than 100,000 centimeters. I think we can see this. Yes? Can you see what I'm saying here? So just imagine that with me. So to achieve one goal, you either choose to live solely in the physical reality, and this I call stage one. Stage one, I do this whole 3 stages of manifestation mastery, or 3 stages of money manifestation mastery. Imagine you wanted some kind of money goal you had in mind there, and you only live in the physical reality. So you do all the, okay, oh, well, I need to make some more money. I know what I'll do. I'll take on another job. Maybe I'll take on another 2 jobs, work as many hours as I possibly can, work even harder. Hopefully people will notice me, maybe even do a business on the side, blah, blah, blah. I'll do all of these things. And at some point, you're going to run out of anything. There's only so much you can do. So you're working very, very hard and walking that 100,000 centimeters to do one revolution. Okay? That's stage one. I like to call people in stage one the blissfully ignorant blissfully ignorant. Okay, they don't know what they don't know because they're living on the surface of the physical reality. Everything takes a long time. They work hard, they push hard, they think it's the only way to live. That's fine. They walk that 100,000 round every time they want to achieve anything, and they do achieve things. Okay, it just takes a heck of a lot of time, a heck of a lot of effort. Yeah. And then the stage three person, the stage three person that lives at the bottom of the cone. I call the stage three person the practical mystic. Yeah, you live at the bottom of the of the cone. Yeah, so you're aware of the physical reality and all of that, but you realize actually that you create from within. So you understand, yes, the physical reality absolutely matters, but it's not the only reality. Okay, so you understand energy, you understand focus, you understand following strategic divine guidance, you understand emotional resilience, you understand that interaction is action. Okay. So when we talk about taking massive action, you realize it's not just how many more hours can I work? How much harder can I work? Blah, blah, blah. It is also what am I doing with my emotions? What am I doing with my focus? What am I doing with my thoughts? You know that you are a divine being having a human experience. You're God of your life, partnered with the God of all life. And so, stage three, you're deepening that connection to the divine. It only takes you 10 centimeters. So, it takes you get to the point where you're manifesting a heck of a lot quicker than you ever have before. You are creating from within. You're writing, speaking, seeing, feeling within you, and then you're seeing it manifest in the physical reality. Okay, so you are fully engaged in the physical reality. So you're not as the practical mystic is not somebody who tries to pretend the physical reality is not that important and blah blah blah. You're just living in a cave somewhere. No, we are practical mystics. Okay, so so we're very engaged in real life. We just also recognize that the physical reality is not all there is. Yeah, the goal does need focus, but we realize that that focus is action. The focus is action, not just the actual, practical action, but the how we think about it, how we visualize it. All of that is action as well. Okay, so you don't need that whole exhausting 100,000 centimeter walk to get one goal done. You just need 10 centimeters. Okay, so can you see there's a difference there? Now, for most people, and most of y'all listening to me, you're going to be in stage two. I call you, unfortunately, the painfully awake. Okay, in stage two, you're somewhere in the middle there between the top and the bottom, and you tap into. So this is who the divine is speaking to in some ways from that divine download I read earlier. The stage two person, you have tapped into the inner realms, the inner reality. You've caught glimpses. You have these insights. You know there's more. You absolutely know there's more, and you can't go back to being asleep because you've seen the kingdom. I like to call it. You've seen the kingdom. You've seen the throne room. There's no way to pretend you don't know that there's more. You know there's more, but somehow you can't seem to make that more work for you, or you don't trust it. So you say we create from within, but then something happens in the physical reality, and all you can think about is how can I shift? What do I need to shift in the physical reality, or give in, basically. But there's this: you're awake, you know that there's more, you just don't know how to make it work. So you are connected to the divine, kind of, because the longer you're in this stage two, sometimes it kind of gets to that place where you start to feel abandoned by the divine because it's like sometimes it's worse to know the divine and not be able to get what you want or not be able to create what you want, because it almost feels like how can I know all of this and still be struggling in this way? What is going on? What is going on? And but but unfortunately in stage two as well, there's all of the stuff, the noise, the nonsense, and the drama getting in your way. In some ways, it's almost easier to not know. Because at least if you didn't know, you just kind of plod along doing your 100,000 centimeters without thinking about it. But when you know, you're busy trying to clear. What is it that I don't know? Maybe I need to study more. Maybe I need to research more. Maybe I did, and you're stuck in this stage two. But there's also for a lot of people, one of the reasons why you're stuck in this stage two is this: it's the lack of trust. Okay, so you instead of completing, so coming back to the analogy of the cone, instead of walking, so you could be in the middle where it's only 500 centimeters, but you start walking around, you get to about 200 centimeters, you lose faith, you walk back up to the top. Oh, let's shift something in the physical reality, start walking around the 100,000 centimeters. You get so far, you get all motivated again, you come back down, And then maybe this time you're at the 1000 centimeter level. So then you start walking around the 1000 centimeters. You get to about 500 centimeters. You've worked hard to get that 500 centimeters, but then you lose faith again and you go back up to the top and you're walking again on the physical reality level. And so again, you start again walking 100,000 centimeters. And then, oh yeah, I had a new insight. I read a new book. I did something else. I did blah, blah, blah. And you come back down to the 500 level or the 750 level or whatever level in between here, basically, or the 5,000 level. And you start again. And then you lose faith. You come back up to the physical reality. And then you come back down. And then it's like you're always starting again. Always starting again at one level or the other, one level or the other, always starting again. Because you go deeper, but you panic and you climb back up to the top because that's what you're most familiar with. And everybody around you is most familiar with just living in the physical reality. And sometimes they look at you and think, what the heck do you think? What, you think you can do it in 10 centimeters? What, are you crazy? Of course not. Come and join us with the 100,000 centimeters at the top here. Well, you think you're better than we are? You think somehow you have some secret knowledge? Oh, please, you're just being silly. Come and join us at the top here. And so, again, because you're worried about what people think about you, you're worried about how you're coming across, you're getting those insights from the divine, but you're ignoring them. You don't trust them. They're not familiar. They do not fit into your sacred text, or they don't fit into your view of the world. And you are open, and you're also not, truth be told. Okay? So yeah, you're healing this and clearing that and buying that and blah, blah, blah. But when it comes down to it, you're also getting quite terrified. You get inspired, you get terrified. You get resentful, you get determined again, you get scared again. And you never quite make a whole revolution, or even if you do, it's hell because you started so many times and stopped and started and stopped. Again, it feels easier to just be at stage one and just know that, well, you know what? I'm going to have to do 100,000 centimeters. I need not fight it. Let's just go and start doing my 100,000 centimeters. But when you know, it's almost impossible to not know. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? The divine says you're so scared of not being respected, of being seen as kind of kooky. And so time and again, you ignore what you also claim to want to see and understand. So yes, you say you want to see, you say you want to know, you say you want to understand how all of this works, but you also want it to look very, very normal. And if it doesn't look as normal as everybody around you, you worry that you're going to look like an idiot. And you don't want to look like an idiot. Who does? Who does, really? But the truth of the matter is that we are meant to be way shores. You are going to have new ideas, new insights. And everybody wants those new ideas and new insights. You want to understand how things work. But you don't want to be the one that is different from everybody else. And that keeps you stuck going up and down, up and down, up and down, and never really getting anywhere. And unfortunately, a lot of stage 2 people handle the pressure in one of two ways. A lot of people go back to stage 1. So they return to a more rigid religion or more rigid ideology, which can be Western religion or an Eastern religion. People in the West these days seem to be quite attracted to the Eastern religions. It seem to be trendy at the moment. But ultimately, what they're looking for is a system with clear rules on how everything works. They want a set of rituals. You want approved beliefs. You want a sacred text. You want leaders who will tell you exactly what to do. And you want to all be able to speak in the same language and all of that. And you want the tribe. But being in stage 3 sometimes means you need to step away from the tribe. But this is why sometimes stage 2 people go back to stage 1 and they're suddenly really fanatical about their religion that they left behind before, but now they're back to it. And oh my God, yes, I was backslidden, but now I'm back. And I as soon as I see this, I always think, yeah, but what was going wrong in your life that caused you to do this? But anyway, it doesn't matter because there's no right or wrong about this. It's just sometimes this is why this happens with people. Okay. Other stage 2 people just stay stuck in stage 2. They take on suffering as their own religion. Okay, they keep trying and pushing and striving and healing and clearing and working, but never quite reaching the goal, never allowing themselves to fully live, because to them, in some ways, it almost feels too undisciplined to live fully, to fully embrace life. It's too pleasurable. It's not noble enough because I'm not suffering enough. So they stay with the suffering. And they think the suffering is something they have to go through in order to finally get to the goal that they want. But the thing you keep forgetting is that there is no happy ending to an unhappy journey. There is no happy ending to an unhappy journey. I do not care how sacred you think your journey is. If you've been stuck in this journey for a very long time, something is not working. And you need to pay attention because, yes, it's so easy to get almost addicted to suffering and struggling and start to even be really proud of the fact that, yes, I always somehow overcome ish. Basically, and somehow always I keep managing to find my way to keep going. Yeah, but the goal of this isn't to just always be struggling. The goal is, yeah, to overcome, to become stage three, to become the practical mystic that does master money manifestation, that does live close or partnered with the divine, that does enjoy life. That you're here, your purpose on this planet is to enjoy being here on this planet, not just to suffer through being here on the planet. Now, this person usually doesn't watch TV, doesn't read books, or not fiction. They're not allowed to read fiction. All their books are all about learning more spiritual stuff, or learning more if it's growing a business and it's more about how to grow a business and all of this. Their whole life is structured and they have to be disciplined. And if they don't, because at some point people start to burn out. You can only do this. I did this. So I know that at some point you start to realize, oh my God, my life is literally passing by and all I'm doing is struggling. Is this really what I signed up for? And this is again where people then wonder, should I go back to stage one? Or you do find a way to stage three, and it is everybody's stage three is available to everyone. But some of the things that you're believing, because it's not that the divine is not trying to get these ideas through to you. It's like I'm speaking to you now. Are you hearing what I'm saying really? Because it will resonate, but do you know what to do? For some of y'all, you need to get a copy of my book. Okay, start there. That might be your next step. Start somewhere, because just continuing with the struggle, that's not life. That's not the way it's supposed to be. You can't struggle. As I said, no happy ending to an unhappy journey. You can't hate yourself into freedom, because that's also what starts to happen when you're stuck in this struggle thing. You start to wonder, is it me? Is something wrong with me? What am I doing? There's always something wrong. And yeah. So you're beating yourself up. You're not disciplined enough. Let's be more disciplined. And you keep rejecting joy, hoping that at some point you're going to end up at this hoped for result, but there's no happy ending to an unhappy journey. So if you are not enjoying the journey, you need to look at that. Something has to shift. And a lot of this is, again, it is built up in those childhood beliefs or religious falsities or whatever about suffering being noble, struggle being holy, and pleasure or happiness suspicious. There was a long time I thought happiness is not a goal. Why is happiness not a goal? Now I think that, but at that point I thought, no, I want to be joyful. And I would say it with, because joy is spiritual and noble, and you can be joyous in struggle. But happy is weak and frivolous. Who wants that? Or again, you might be caught up in this idea that you're preparing for the next experience, that in the next life, paradise is there. But here, no. Here, you're here to struggle and learn lessons forever. No, it's not true. Unfortunately, even if you were once in religion and you come out of religion, it doesn't mean that the religion has left your brain. Basically. And if you are, and it's not just religion, because it's also religion, even in the culture, particularly in the West, probably in the East as well. I don't know enough, so I couldn't tell you for sure. But the culture, we were all brought up in some ways to think that pain is necessary to gain anything. It's time to start questioning some of those ideas. It's time to start noticing when you are saying one thing but acting as though a different thing is true. Because you might agree with me that I'm not supposed to be struggling, but then you may accept struggle in your life as though it's just the way it is, isn't it? It's just life. It's just being responsible. I have to just, put up with whatever. Or maybe the divine is punishing me for something or whatever. But you're not consciously putting the two together. So yes, I believe that I get to create the life I want. I get to live that free, fulfilled, financially abundant, love-drenched life. But maybe at some point in the future. Right now, I just need to struggle. Really? You sure? Are you sure? Okay? Because you are meant to live life in all its fullness. You are meant to live life in all its fullness. Okay? All its fullness. This physical reality, there's so much to experience, so much to experience, but you do create it from within. You do create it from within. Again, here, you are the God of your life, partnered with the God of all life. You are powerful, you are limitless, you are never alone. So Divine goes on to say, make up your mind what is important to you, make up your mind about what is a must for you. So do you want to just be respectable, or do you want the revelations? Do you want to just be normal, or do you want to be free? Do you want to blend in and just be the same as everybody else, or do you want to actually break through and be that bringer of the new, that way shower, that generational wealth creator, that person you know you're called and meant to be? There's stuff in you that wants to be shared, but again, because it's so different from what you're used to or different from what the people around you are used to, you're holding back. Do you want to appear sensible, or do you actually want to see and be able to create life, even if it means that you are slightly different from the people around you, or a heck of a lot different from the people around you? Are you willing to be that way shower? Because of course the way shower is going to be different from the people you're showing the way to. Okay? Do you want to go deeper with the divine and actually become a practical mystic, or is it just talk? Because, yeah, the divine can show you everything. And there is so much to see, there's so much to learn, there's limitless realities available to understand. There's so much. And when it comes to creating from within, there's no limit to what you can create once you start to master the ability to manifest, which we're all masters at manifesting, really. But now we want to consciously create what we want as opposed to just keep creating whatever. Basically, limitations that you claim not to want, but that feel very comfortable and safe to you. This is what the divine was also talking about, is that you're giving into those limitations. You say you don't want them, but they're comfortable, so you stick with them. Wake up. Wake up. Do you want to see and to know and to perceive all that there is? Do you really want it? Or you just want the information? Yeah, there's lots of information that can be gathered, but you have to apply that information for it to actually make sense to you. But it's meant to be a joyous thing. Okay? Okay. So just stuff to think about there. Listen to this again. And always see that cone. Where are you living on that cone? On the surface? Or are you in the middle there going up and down and up and down and up and down? Or have you found a way to settle into the bottom? Or are you willing to find a way to settle into the bottom and become stage 3 practical mystic? Again, start with a copy of my book, The Money Manifestation Mastery and Strategic Divine Guidance book. It'll help you understand a bit better about how all this stuff starts to work. It is for ambitious spiritual people who want to make some money whilst using the skills and things inside of them. But it starts with that, but then it also goes on to talking about the mistakes ambitious spiritual people make that stops them from manifesting the things that they want. So you get that as well, and some other stuff. And then you come into my world and I talk about this stuff. I work with my clients on this kind of stuff. Are you ready? In order to get the book, you need to message me the word book or go see the link in my bio. Let's finish this with the love prayer, as I love to do. If you are able to see it, it will be showing up on your screen in a moment. And if not, then you're just going to have to listen in and close your eyes and let's say it together. Ooh, tell me I opened it. Yes, it is there. And let's go to the first bit here. So hands on heart. Even if you can't see the words right now, what I want you to do is picture love energy flooding through you right now. Just picture whatever love feels like to you. Maybe it's a light, or give it a color. I like purple light. I like white light as well. Let that just start to flood through you. Imagine light flooding through you as we say this prayer together. Okay. Your love dissolves all doubt. Your love dissolves all fear. Your love keeps me focused. Your love keeps me clear. Your love dissolves all guilt. Your love dissolves all shame. Your love keeps me focused. Your love keeps me in the game. Your love dissolves regret. Your love dissolves despair. Your love restores my hope, my peace, my joy. Your love restores my youth and my years. Your love dissolves resentment and envy. Your love dissolves hate and rage. Your love dissolves any bitter root within me. Your love rebuilds my self trust and my faith. Your love flows freely through me right now, resolving, dissolving, evolving. Your love flows freely through me right now, harmonizing and adjusting. Your love flows freely through me right now, resolving, dissolving, evolving. Your love makes me magnetic to the desires of my heart. And I just want you to take a moment right now to imagine one goal, see it done. As you're allowing this love to flood through you right now, it's making you magnetic to the physical equivalent of that goal. Picture it now. See it now. Speak it now. I feel your love propelling me forward into greater and greater financial prosperity right now. Money, wealth, riches flood into my life from everywhere and in great abundance with ease and with speed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. And on that note, we bring it all to an end. Such a pleasure speaking with you guys today. Share this with somebody else. Much amazing love. Go forth and prosper. Bye.